Hello students, welcome to All Force e-learning. Today we are going to discuss that is male reproductive system which was left in the previous session. Now in this session 3 we will discuss here, this is male reproductive system. Now we have discussed in the male reproductive system there are primary sex organs, secondary sex organs, external genitalia. Now this is primary sex organs, a pair of testes which are present. Now testes, which are oval shaped, pinkish in color, and there is internal structure covered by coats, what we call it as tunics, that is tunica vaginalis, tunica albuginea, as well as tunica vesiculosa. Now this is what we have studied in the previous class. Now today we will conclude that part. Now this is the testis which is oval shaped pinkish color. Now this is the covering, what we call it as tunica vaginalis, outermost, which again consists of outer parietalis, inner visceralis. Now there is a white fibrous tissue, this is called as tunica albuginea, which cuts the testis into many lobules. Now there are 250 to 300 testicular lobules are there. The horizontal septa which is made by albuginea, tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea makes, this is what we are saying, this is the tunica albuginea is making horizontal septa. Now this horizontal septa which are made by tunica albuginea, this is what we call it as testicular lobules. Now how many? 250 nearly. Then there is a vertical partition, this is called as mediastinum testis. Now this is what we have studied in the previous class. Now further if you move, if you take out one testicular lobule and place it here, one testicular lobule, we have taken out of 250 testicular lobules, one testicular lobule. Now this is one testicular lobule. This testicular lobule, it show inside there are blind tubules. Now what are those blind tubules are called as? Now these blind tubules which are present are called as seminiferous tubules. It means we are studying internal structure inside the testis, where the testicular lobule we have placed here, one testicular lobule. Now this testicular lobule inside, if you observe, there is 2 to 3 or 1 to 3 small blind ended tubules, small blind ended tubules which are highly coiled. Now these are called as seminiferous tubules. These tubules, what we call them as, these tubules are inside these tubules are called as seminiferous tubules. Now these seminiferous tubules are the sites for the production of sperms. Sperms or spermatozoa are produced from the seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules are the blind tubules which are present in the testicular lobule. What are they are sites for? They are sites for the production of sperms. It means sperms or sperm mother cells, spermatogonia, they are present in the seminiferous tubules. Now 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules which are present. Now I have taken a section, a cross section of the seminiferous tubules and placed it here. Now when we place here this seminiferous tubules, these are 3 tubules, seminiferous tubules taking cross section. Then it shows inside it has a lining of cuboidal cells and columnar cells. Now the cuboidal cells are nothing but germinal epithelium. Cuboidal cells are nothing but germinal epithelium. Now this germinal epithelium along with some tall cells are present. Now these tall cells are called as Serotonin cells, or otherwise also called as sustentacular cells. Sustentacular cells or Serotonin cells or otherwise simply also called as nurse cells. Now, each seminiferous tubule inside is lined by a cuboidal epithelium consists of germinal epithelium, which is the sites for the production of sperms or spermatozoa. Now, two types of cells. Now, here if you observe this germinal epithelium, two types of cells are present. One is cuboidal cells, cube shaped. Now, this is the germinal epithelium, which is nothing but spermatogonial mother cells, whereas the other cells are columnar cells. Now, columnar cells, they are tall cells, column like cells, they are Serotonin cells. Now, in between these tubules, now here is tubule 1, tubule 2, tubule 3. In between these tubules, there are small cells which are present called as Leydig cells, or otherwise also called as interstitial cells. Leydig cells are interstitial cells. Now, these Leydig cells or interstitial cells, they produce androgens called as testosterone to maintain the spermatogenesis as well as the secondary sexual characters. The seminiferous tubules, in between there are certain cells called as Leydig cells or cells of Leydig. Now, they are also called as interstitial cells. They are the sites for the production of androgens. They produce androgens. Androgens are nothing but testosterone. Okay. Now, each tubule is lined inside by germinal epithelium. Now, this germinal epithelium is nothing but spermatogonial mother cells which produces spermatozoa or sperms. Now, these are present in the testicular lobule. Testicular lobules are present in the testis. Now, testicular lobule is made by which one? Tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea made the testis into lobules by dividing it into horizontal septa. Okay. Now, this is how. Now, listen one more thing. This testicular lobule, at its end there is a duct. This is called as tubuli recti. Tubuli recti. T-U-B-U-L-I. Tubuli recti. Now, all the tubuli recti together form a network of tubes again. This is called as rete testis. What is rete testis? Tubuli network, tubuli recti of each lobe together form a network of, this one is a network of tubules at the mediastinum testis. Where it forms? In the mediastinum testis. At the mediastinum testis, all the tubuli recti together form a network called as rete testis. This is the rete testis. Now, from the rete testis, small ducts arises. All these ducts are called as vas efferentia. This is the vas efferentia. Vas efferentia are the ducts which arises from rete testis. Now, these vas efferentia together, they get attached to a highly coiled compact duct. This is called as epididymis. Now, this part is called as epididymis. Now, epididymis is again divided into caput epididymis, which is also called as head, corpus epididymis, which is the body, whereas the last one, this is cauda epididymis, this is a tail. The epididymis is a highly coiled compact duct which shows three parts. The posterior most part, where it arises from the posterior part of the testis. Now, this part is what we call it as caput epididymis, the first part, also called as head. Then the body, this is corpus, middle part. Then the tail, this is what we are saying cauda. It means caput, corpus, cauda. The epididymis is divided into three: caput, corpus, cauda. Caput is the head, whereas corpus is the body, whereas cauda is the tail. Okay. Now this is epidermis. This epidermis leads into a duct, a long duct. What is this duct is called as vas deferens. Vas deferens. Now this is that vas deferens. This vas deferens moves here and it makes it enters into the abdominal cavity and it makes a loop over the urinary bladder. This vas deferens starts from cauda epidermis. It starts from cauda epidermis and then through inguinal canal it moves into the abdominal cavity where it loops around the urinary bladder and opens into here nearby, where it opens nearby into the seminal vesicle opens. Before seminal vesicle opens, it has a spacious part, a wider part called as ampulla. Now later it is accompanied by seminal vesicle to form ejaculatory duct. Now this is that ejaculatory duct. Now this ejaculatory duct of both the sides together open into the urethra. This is the common opening. This is the base of the urinary bladder. This is the base of the urinary bladder. Okay. Now this is the urethra continues here in the form of this is urethra continuation into an urethral meatus. The opening of the urethra is called as urethral meatus at the tip of the penis. Okay. Now once again I complete this one. First the testicular lobules. What are the testicular lobules here? Tunica albuginea is made testis into septa, horizontal septa. These horizontal septa which are there, these are the septa. Now each one made this into, this is one lobule, this is another lobule, this is another lobule, this is another. It means 250 testicular lobules which was made by Tunica albuginea. Partitions, they are nothing but partitions. Now these testicular lobules which are formed, now inside each testicular lobule what is present? Highly coiled blind ended tubules, what we call them as seminiferous tubules. Now these are the seminiferous tubule 1, 2, 3. This is 1, 2, 3. Now if we cut these seminiferous tubules and place here, seminiferous tubules are the sites for the production of spermatozoa or sperms. Now this is, now the this is seminiferous tubules. Now each seminiferous tubule inside lined by cuboidal epithelium which forms germinal epithelium. This germinal epithelium consists of two types of cells. What are those two types of cells? Cuboidal cells which forms spermatogonial mother cells. Then another type of cells, columnar cells which forms, this is columnar cells also called as Serotonin cells or nurse cells or otherwise also called as sustentacular cells. What is the function of Serotonin cells or sustentacular cells? The function of the Serotonin cells is it provides nourishment to the developing sperms. They form testis blood barrier. Now function of this Serotonin cells, their function is they nourish the sperms, they nourish sperms, they form blood. This is a testis blood barrier, testis blood barrier. They phagocyte the damaged sperms. Phagocyte damaged sperms. It means damaged or dead sperms are engulfed by the Serotonin cells. They nourish, they act as testis blood barrier, Serotonin cells. and also they produce a hormone called as inhibin, produce hormone called as inhibin, as well as anti-Mullerian hormone. It produces two types of hormones. One is inhibin, inhibin, inhibin. Another one is anti-Mullerian hormone. Two hormones are produced by the Sertoli cells. The function of the Sertolitol cells is nourishes sperms, testis blood barrier, phagocyte damaged sperms, produces hormones such as inhibin and anti-Mullerian hormone. Okay. Now germinal epithelium altogether produces only sperms. Now where actually these germinal cells are formed from? The germinal epithelium actually not derived by the seminal, this is a seminiferous tubule. During the 5th month of the development of the male baby, yolk sac, some of the cells called as spermatogonial mother cells, they move into the seminiferous tubule. It means the germinal epithelium which is showing in the seminiferous tubules are not the cells of seminiferous tubule, they are the cells of yolk sac. At the 5th month of development of the male baby, from the yolk sac, some of the cells they move into this seminiferous tubule and forms the spermatogonial mother cell. Okay. Now these seminiferous tubules are the sites for production of sperms. Okay. Now here listen, the sperms which are formed inside the seminiferous tubule, they move from where? Seminiferous tubule into the tubuli recti, from this retate testis, from retate testis vas efferentia, from vas efferentia epididymis, from epididymis vas deferens, now from vas deferens ejaculatory duct, now from the ejaculatory duct into the urethra, urethra into the female genital tract. Now here is the sperms which are produced in seminiferous tubule. Here is seminiferous tubules, the sperms are produced. Now from the seminiferous tubules they move, because here you remember one thing, sperms never swim in the human body, male human body. Sperms are produced in the testis but they never swim, they only swim in the female reproductive tract. How they show movement? They show movement by peristaltic movement. This is peristalsis. The duct show peristalsis. By the peristalsis, the sperms move through these ducts. Okay. Now seminiferous tubules, they are the sites for production of sperm. Now from the seminiferous tubule, first they reaches here tubuli recti, tubuli recti. Now from tubuli recti, then they move into the retate testis, retate testis. Now from retate testis, they move into vas efferentia, vas efferentia. From vas efferentia to the epididymis, epididymis. From epididymis into vas deferens. Now this is that vas deferens, vas deferens. Now from vas deferens they move into this part is what we are saying ejaculatory duct, move into ejaculatory duct. Now from the ejaculatory duct they move into the urethra. Now from the urethra they move into the, it means during ejaculation they are released into vagina of the female. Now this is the path followed by the sperm, where in the male reproductive tract into the female reproductive tract, from the seminiferous tubules which are the sites for production of sperm, moving into tubuli recti, retate testis, then vas efferentia, epididymis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, urethra, vagina. Now, you remember one thing, tubuli recti as well as retate testis is also the part of duct system. It is also the part of duct system. But this duct system is present inside the testis. Whereas, yesterday what we have said in the duct system from the epididymis, here too, it is present outside the testis. Tubuli recti, retate testis is also the duct system, but they are present inside the testis. Whereas, epididymis moves from the posterior part of the, what this is called as testis. Okay. Now, we will be discussing here epididymis. What is here epididymis means? Epididymis is a highly coiled compact duct, what we have said. What we are saying? Epididymis. What is this epididymis is? Epididymis. Highly coiled compact duct. Highly coiled compact duct. Now, this is that arising from the posterior part of the testis. Now, this is vas efferentia together form epididymis. Now, this epididymis, it is differentiated into three parts. What are those three parts? First part is caput epididymis. Caput epididymis. Next, carpus epididymis. Next, cauda epididymis. Three parts. This is the posterior-most part where it is arised. This is called as caput epididymis, also called as head. Then there is a body. This is carpus epididymis. Then there is a tail. This is end at the anterior-most side. This is cauda. Okay. Now, what is the function of epididymis? Epididymis function. Function of epididymis is, here is maturation of sperms takes place as well as motility. This is they get motility in the epididymis. It means they do not move, they get the ability in the epididymis, as well as temporarily acting as storage. What is the functions of epididymis? Epididymis function as sperms get maturation, they get this is what we are saying, motility. They have the ability to swim, they get the ability, but they do not swim, they swim only in the female genital tract. They get the ability for the movement, motility. Then storage, they are temporarily stored in the epididymis. For suppose if they are not discharged outside, they are phagocytized in the epididymis. It means they are killed in the epididymis if they are not released to outside. Okay. Now, this is a maturation, motility, storage. This is the function of epididymis. This is caput, this is carpus, this is cauda epididymis. The functions is maturation, motility, storage. Then it leads into what is this duct is called as a long duct. What is this one is? Vas deferens. Now, this is the next vas deferens. Here is what we are saying, vas deferens. Vas deferens here is. Now, vas deferens is an elongated tube which moves out through the testis from the cauda epididymis. It extends and it moves out from the scrotum into the abdominal cavity through spermatic cord. Spermatic cord is that which has testicular nerve, testicular artery, testicular vein, as well as vas deferens. Now, this vas deferens, a long tubule which enters into the abdominal cavity. In the abdominal cavity, it loops over urinary bladder, and it then comes here and gets swollen. That swollen part is called as ampulla, where the sperms are temporarily stored before ejaculation, before it is released out. A long tubule starting from the cauda, epididymis, now it continues into the abdominal cavity, and then it makes a loop over urinary bladder and forms a sac like structure called as ampulla. In this ampulla, what is stored? Sperms are stored before they are released out. This is ejaculated out. Okay, this part is what we are saying vas deferens. This part is vas deferens. Now, vas deferens, it is lined inside. It is lined inside by pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium. Lined by pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium inside, as well as it covers the vas deferens with lamina propria. It covers the vas deferens, that is a covering of vas deferens, covering. It also covers inside by, this is a propria, lamina propria. This is a connective tissue. It is lined inside by pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium and also covered by lamina propria. This is the connective tissue. Okay. Now here, this vas deferens at the last, where it ends into urethra, it gets a connection from the seminal vesicle. Now seminal vesicle connection along with the vas deferens together form a small duct. This small duct is called as ejaculatory duct. What is the duct? Is called as ejaculatory duct. An ejaculatory duct is formed by dash and dash, that is vas deferens along with the duct from the seminal vesicle. Vas deferens, this is vas deferens plus another one, this is duct from, what is this one is seminal vesicle, together form ejaculatory duct, a small ejaculatory duct. Now ejaculatory duct actually provides necessary force for the sperms to come out in the form of a jet. The semen which is released come out in the form of jet because of the presence of this ejaculatory duct. Okay, it is formed by duct from the vas deferens and duct from the seminal vesicle, a small one. Now this ejaculatory duct on both the sides, this side and this side, it opens into a common opening at the base of the urinary bladder in the form of dash structure. This is urethra. Now this urethra starts here at the base of the urinary bladder and it continues through the penis up to the end, urethral meatus. Okay. Now this vas deferens in the form of ejaculatory duct from both the sides together open into the urethra. Urethra is the common passage. What is urethra? What is urethra? Urethra is the common passage. Urethra is the common passage for urethra. Now urethra is the common passage for both sperms as well as urine. This is a common passage for both sperms and urine, because here the sperms are carried from this ejaculatory duct into the urethra. Now, the urine from the urinary bladder is also moves through the urethra, which passes through the penis and ends. This ending is what we call it as urethral meatus. Now, this urethra, it is divided into three parts. Now, the first part here is where actually it opens. This part is where the prostate gland is present. Hence, this is called as prostatic urethra. Now, this prostatic urethra leads into the next one is membranous urethra. This is a membranous urethra. Now, this membranous urethra, it leads into finally this is in the penis. This is called as penile urethra. Now, this is a long duct which passes through penis. This is penile urethra. The place where it is opened, this is called as prostatic urethra. Then into the membrane. This is membrane means present in the body. This is in the nearby urinary bladder. This is membranous urethra. Then passing through the penis, this is penile urethra. It is a common passage for sperms and urine. Okay. Now, these are the parts which are involved in male reproductive system. We have discussed that is epidermis, vas deferens, ejaculatory duct, then urethra. This is a duct system.